Okay, we'll do a crazy cop story because I just talked about another video that I was going to do this video on where I had to shoot these two dogs. So here's a couple crazy cop stories, but it deals with the same guy, so that's why I'm gonna cover them both. So we're in this van and we're going to serve these felony warrants. We do have a warrant day. We pull all the warrants. We got the bad guys that we need to pick up in this one city. So we're like, okay, we have a briefing. There's 15 of us. We're in 3 5-man teams. We're in different vans. We're going to hit all these places at the same time from 7 to noon, and we're going to try to get as many felons as we can in custody so the DA and the chief police can do a bunch of press releases saying how great we work together and how we serve the community and how we serve this, and even though it costs freaking probably $1 million in overtime and resources. But anyway, so we're in these cars and we're going out. So we end up hitting this house, and as soon as we get out of the car, and I have to kill a couple dogs in this story, so I'm sorry I didn't like it, but I kind of had to do it. So we get out of the car, and there's 5 of us. So me, my lieutenant, and the guy in front of me, another detective from another agency, who I'm going to tell another story about later here in a minute. We'll call him Don. So he gets out first. He's number 1, I'm number 2, my lieutenant's number 3, and a couple of, how do I say, road officers, ROAD, retired on active duty. They're just kind of hanging out. They're like, always the last one's in, the first one's to leave. So they're still in the van. So as we come out of the car, it's a long way to get to the house, so we're like, man, we got to cover some ground. So we kick the gate. He had a little gate with a lock on it. Kick the gate, and as soon as we kick that gate, 2 dogs, 2 pit bulls stand up at the front door, and here they come. And so me and the lieutenant and the guy in front are already committed. We're through the gate. So we're going at the house. Actually, the guys weren't on the house. We pulled up in the van. The guy was in the front door. The guy was at the front door, and he ran inside. I forgot. He ran inside and let the dogs loose. So he runs inside, and we're like, shit, he's running. So we kick the gate. We go in, and as we get in, the door opens, and here comes the 2 dogs. Well, of course, the 2 lazy guys are still just getting out of the van. So us 3 are already committed in a yard, and here comes these dogs. So there wasn't a whole bunch we could do. We might have made it to the fence, but you don't want to run from a guy with a felony warrant, maybe armed, you got guns, he shoots you in the back as you're running out. You don't know if he's getting a gun, you don't know if he's taking hostages, you don't know if he's destroying evidence. You kind of get tunnel vision, so we were like, hey, press on, we got to go. So we're going. Well, the one dog kind of hangs way on the peripheral and just kind of like circles and barks. But one dog, my buddy Don up front, he came right at him. And I just did a video on shooting dogs. I thought it was BS. Well, he had his gun out, but he got his baton out, and he starts swinging it to keep the dog off. So the dog's like at him, and he's like, snap, snap. And so I'm behind him. My lieutenant's behind me. We're all kind of like trying to avoid his swings. We're watching the house. We don't want to get sniped. He's fighting the dog off. And so all this is going on, and then all of a sudden, he puts his gun off, he gets his pepper spray out, and he pepper sprays the dog, and he's swinging his baton, he's pepper spraying, and he's swinging his baton, and we're watching the house, and shit's going downhill, and the 2 lazy-ass, dead broke officers are still on the outside of the gate watching because their pussy-ass didn't come in. So we're out there, the 3 of us, 2 dogs and a suspect, while the 2 dumbasses on the outside not doing anything. And so all of a sudden the dog gets underneath the baton, the pepper spray didn't work, and he grabs my partner on the front leg there and starts chewing on his leg, and I'm like, shit, I gotta take him out. So I didn't want to. So as he's chewing on the guy's leg, I double tap him, bang bang, and he turns, let's go, comes at me. So as soon as he turns, I hit him again. Well, when I shot him, he yiped, and his partner dog that was just circling us before, that wasn't really bothering us, suddenly he took offense to that and I shot his dog. So he came right in at me and lunged at me. So I kind of roll back and I take 2 or 3 shots at him. He drops. One of the dogs, I can't remember which one, ends up getting up and running. They're both pit bulls. Ends up getting running, and it runs back to the house as blood squirting out of his neck. And again, we still haven't got the damn felony suspect that let him out and ran in the house. That just increased his freaking new charges now for trying to assault officers. But anyway, so my buddy gets up off the ground. He's got his batons. I go, dude, you all right? He's limping. He's bleeding a little bit. He goes, yeah, I'm good. Let's go. So we run up the house, kind of circle the back, end up catching the guy coming out the back door. By the time we get to the house, he comes out the back door. We snag him, take him into custody. Well, the 2 dogs are dead. And I feel bad. And everybody knows that I'm a dog lover. So the next day of briefing, of course, well, first of all, yeah, I think that the next day of briefing, I come into the office and we're going to have, and detectives, I was on a task force, an auto theft task force. So when we had briefing, it was, you know, 8 or 10 plainclothes detectives. We'd all come in, sit around, bullshit, drink coffee, and talk about what we're going to do, who's got what's going on, whatever, and just kind of bullshit, watch the news, see who's up. So it wasn't like a formal briefing where I said, but we had a big board up there where we called how many people we arrested, how many stolen vehicles we got, and any notes or anything if we were briefing something. We're right in the middle of the board. One of the guys from SAC-SO draws this poor little cute little dog and he puts Fluffy on the top, and then he shows a little kid crying because, oh, I forgot to tell you, after we get this guy in custody, the dogs are dead, ambulance comes, we get more units because now we have shots fired, we got suspect fleeing, we got an officer bit, we got 2 dead dogs. You know, everybody shows up, so now it's a big cluster, like, you know, something major terrorist event. So we have all these cops, the deputy chief, the chief comes, everybody comes out. And so there was a big, well, the kids come home from school and they're crying because both their dogs are dead. And of course, you know, dad's yelling, they shot your dogs, they killed. I was like, you piece of shit. Had you not let them out on us, they'd be alive right now. You just turned your ass in, you're on the front porch, you know we were going to get you. Instead, your coward pussy ass runs in the house, lets these dogs out, now they got to pay for your dumb ass shit. Now your kids got to pay for your dumb ass shit. But that's beside the point. The kids go home crying, I kind of felt bad. We loaded the dogs up, and so I go on a briefing the next day, and they know I'm bummed, because I'm kind of like, I can't believe I had to kill these dogs, I really don't want to kill them. And so it says, who shot Fluffy? A little kid's crying. They're all laughing. They got a little stuffed animal there saying, hey, look, it's Rick. He showed up. Bang! And they lay the dog down. I'm like, you mother. So that's how cops just kind of deal with stress. They kind of crack on somebody and they mess with them. So they gave me a bunch of shit. Well, about a week later, they want to, the city wants to buy these kids. The city and the chaplain got together and they want to buy these kids a golden retriever. And they want me, since I'm the one that killed it, to come give the kids the dogs. And I'm like, yeah, shoot, I'm down for that. Well, my boss is like, hell no, we're not getting involved in that. That shit goes wrong, the kid ends up getting bit, too much liability. If they want to give him a dog, let them give him a dog, we're not going to be involved. So I was out, I didn't do it. So I don't even know if they gave him a dog or they didn't, or they tried to give him a dog and they said, we don't want it because it was too nice. And you know, another thing later we found out as we're interviewing all the neighbors, those dogs were crazy. They would run, they would try to jump on a fence, they would try to chase kids. The postman couldn't deliver mail. So, I mean, the dogs were kind of a problem because they had an asshole owner. So, anyway, so that's my shooting a dog story, that I don't like shooting dogs. Those are the only dogs I ever had to shoot. I had one other incident where I'm chasing a felony guy over a fence. He jumps the fence and gets through the yard before the dog even knows he's there. The dog's kind of like, yo, what was that just ran by? Well, now the dog's on alert, so when I jump the fence and run by, he's like, oh, hell no, the first guy got away, I'm getting you. So he comes right at me. I'm like, shit. I said, oh, I want to shoot on a dog. So I fire around right in front of the ground. Bang, right in front of him, thinking the flash will burn his, well, warning shots aren't authorized by our policy. We're not supposed to do it because you can't tell where the bullet went. And I was like, when they put that in the policy, I was actually involved in it. I said, hey, this is a bad policy. What happens if a guy needs to shoot something? I said, why put it in there? Just say we don't encourage it, but why make it unlawful? You know why? Because then if we want you, we can get you if you do it. That's why they make a lot of policy for cops. It's all about how the department can hold it over your head later to keep you under control. So anyway, I shoot this in the ground, and that dog runs away. He wants no part of me. And I'm like, perfect. I continue my chase, jump over the fence, end up losing the guy. But anyway, so that was the other part. Well, now I told you I had a second part where the guy in front of me, Don, hey, get. To hear all these quacking in the background. So the guy in front of me, Don, we're out one day, there was a shooting, an armed robbery, they ended up with some shooting. And they chased the guy down this road. So when they caught him, the gun was gone. And we know there was a gun because he shot up the place or shot somebody or something, but we knew there was a gun. So we go about 5 or 6 of us. We go out in the morning one time, the next morning, and we kind of line up on both sides of the street. We got 2 or 3 cops and we're walking. And on the video, we can tell that the gun he used was a Glock. Well, I was carrying a Glock. So, the guy that got bit was lagging behind, and he was checking shit. You know, the other cops are kind of like, look, if it's out in the open, we'll find it, but if, you know, we're not going to be looking under every leaf for the next 2 miles down this road. So he's back there, he's kind of lagging a little bit, kicking bushes, doing a pretty good search. And I was like, yo guys, I'm laying my gun down, so when he walks up, he's going to find it and think he found a gun. So I lay my Glock down and we all walk on past it and stuff. So here he comes, he's like, dude, I got it, it's right here, I found the gun. So he's freaking out all the time. So he is just having a shit fit. His day is made. He think he found the gun that was using this. So all the cops are kind of like, wow, good job, man, that's pretty cool. And so it's sitting on the ground. He's like, don't touch it, we need to get a picture, we need to print it. Well, of course, everybody else knew it was my gun, so one of the other detectives walks over, picks up the gun and goes, damn, he goes, dude, don't touch it, we can't print it now, your prints. So he starts going through it, and he goes, man, this gun, he goes, Rick, this gun looks just like yours. I go, shit, my holster empty. I said, I think that is my gun. And he just went from like winning the lotto ticket to finding out it was a fake ticket. He was just like, man, that's just wrong. Alright, so that's one of my crazy cop stories on how cops entertain themselves when they got nothing else better to do. Alright, hope that helps. My horses came in to say howdy. We'll end that there.